Well, good evening, all. I'm Epstein, and here we are with your evening update, your metal markets, for this Monday, the 29th of January, 2024, 6:35 p.m. Central Time. What a day. So, over the weekend, unfortunately, we heard 3 servicemen were killed in Jordan. Then about 30 some odd injured, some very seriously, may not make it. The worry was that the U.S. would do something and attack Iran, even though Iran says they weren't involved. They're involved. They're the people backing all these people. So it's their surrogates. You can't say you're not involved. I give you the money. I'll give you the know-how. I'll tell you how to do it. And here's where they're going to be at this hour. Go get them. But I'm not involved. Okay. And then the Biden administration today comes out and says it'll be a very measured response. It'll be this, it'll be that. But we're not going to attack them on Iranian territory. We're going to hit some military installations. I've got to say this because I can't control myself. Why do you have to say anything? Just be quiet and do what you're going to do. Just say there's a price to pay. You will pay it. End discussion. Don't start giving details what you're going to do, not do. They don't deserve it, and the world doesn't. You do what you got to do. We are America. All right? We're either the strongest nation on this planet or we're not. And don't make us look weak. That is just what I would be saying. All right. Energies. First thing I looked at last night was, where are we? Because I would have thought $3 higher in crude. I would have thought gold up $50. I'm looking at how are we going to attack, what's going to happen, there's going to be a price to pay. But that was the other president. This president, you got to think different. And with this president, what the market did is it went up, came down $2 during the day and settled weak. You will see that when we do the next update in the financial markets. Tomorrow, by the way, just got to tell you this, you're looking early in the morning, Red Book Group, Case-Shiller's going to have their 20 home prices, and the Conference Board. So none of this is going to move the metal markets. The metals will move off of other factors, certainly what's going on in the Mideast. And one of the good things that I'm hearing is apparently it is difficult, but they are making lots of headway. The negotiators are, at least, to thinking they're getting closer to a deal for a truce between Hamas and Israel. But if you listen to Hamas and Israel, they go they're both very far apart. So everybody negotiating doesn't think that, but the two parties to it think they're far apart. We'll see what that means. We have the FOMC meeting taking place. We have the Bank of England. We have JOLTS data, ADP, Challenger Gray data, and the U.S. jobs report this week. Then add to that in the markets, and it'll be important. You have 100 and some odd companies in the S&P 500 reporting this week, not over 2 weeks, this week. The big boys start coming out, Amazon, Meta, all the big boys right now. So you've got to pay attention as to what that's going to mean in the markets as well. When we look at the gold market, you can see that the gold has been correcting, but it hasn't even gotten back to the 18-week moving average of closes. As long as prices are over that, I keep a bullish bias. It's a filter. When you look at this, would you honestly think the U.S. is going to war with Iran? I look at charts and I go, that doesn't look like it to me. The pattern is still lower highs, lower lows. You got to clear the high over here to say you're out of the downtrend. You haven't done that yet. The market has found support repeatedly now at the 200-day average. Couldn't get it down to the green, which is the 100, and the Bollinger Band wasn't hit. Where's it been keep coming to? I think you see that. If you don't, get your eyes checked. 18-day average of closes keeps going there. And you're narrowing in the Bollinger Bands. Now, the narrower they get, like they did back here, the ultimate play comes as they break out of the narrowness. In this case, it was down. It could have been up. You have to wait and see which way it'll do it. But they're not at that point yet. I think you'd agree. They don't look anything like this long, narrow area, but they're getting there. They're working on it as we talk. When we look at the momentum, the market had been oversold, and it's coming out of the oversold condition. Both numbers, are they over 30? Not yet. It's coming out of it. It's not there. As long as one of the numbers is under 30, the way that I teach charting, I consider that still oversold. In an oversold market, you'll hear me say over and over, I don't believe traders deploy new short positions. In the gold silver, this has turned silver on us because the lower this number goes, it means silver is gaining on gold in terms of strength. You don't need any longer 90 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. You now need 87.01 to get 1 ounce of gold. And if you look at silver, what a better looking chart than gold. Look at how the market's rallied up here. It's at the resistance point at the upper Bollinger Band. It's fighting very close to the 2350 area, to the 2357, which is the Bollinger Band and the 100-day average. So the upper resistance in eyesight. And if you look at the market, you're not quite overbought. You have to have a reading over 70 to be overbought. You're not quite there. In the copper market, over the weekend, we saw that the Hong Kong court, well, actually it was to me this morning, you saw that the Hong Kong court had ruled that Evergrande has to liquidate. They're not going to be able to survive, but it's very difficult. Let me explain something. That's Hong Kong. I'm reading how some of the subsidiaries owned by Evergrande are still operating, and they're working on the homes and the apartments that they're building to deliver so that there's money coming in. Who's getting that money? Who's paying these workers right now? It is so confusing in China. I thought it was one China, and that if a court ruled in Hong Kong, that is the same as it ruling in the mainland. It doesn't sound like it. I'm sure we'll read more about this, but I know what I read. I went back and read it 3 or 4 times, and I'm going, I never knew that. That's sort of strange to me. Higher lows, higher highs, look for resistance up here at the 390 level. Now, Codelco's been doing a lot of borrowing money at about 2.5% over prime, by the way. And they are trying to expand copper production. They say that we're going to run this year into a shortfall. And they're counting, from the looks of it, that the world isn't going to go into a deep recession, that things will get better. The restrictions, central bank, that's code word, restrictions from central bank, will start dropping interest rates, and the demand for copper is going to come alive. So interesting, and I'm agreeing with them. At least right now, you're over the 200-day average, you're over the red line, the 18, and you fought a battle at the combination of the green line, which is the 100-day average, and the lower Bollinger Band, and you held it all. That's impressive. And then you hear that this big liquidation's taking place and you're not dropping. So the market's become enamored that they believe that the government has woken up. They saw the 10% decline in stock values. Now can you imagine, do you honestly think hearing that Evergrande's in a liquidation phase right now gives you confidence in buying any property in China? Why don't you go to Evergrande and buy it? You'd probably get it a deal. Platinum market, lower low, higher high, market coming up. Look for big resistance up here. But this market really performed well. Once it lost its embedded reading, it came alive, and that's the beauty of what I try to teach you here. In the dollar index, you can see how this market's fighting its battle. I still have that 104 target. I'd love to see it get up there. We'll see how close it can get. It hit 103.64. I'm only 26 points away. If the red line closes under 79, then I don't think it's going there. Until that happens, it's got all the verve to make it the rest of the way. So I'm looking for that resistance, 103.90 area. And the other thing you had to look at is, did you see oil hold? No. What about what's going on in bonds and notes? You do know the U.S. Treasury today came out, Janet Yellen, and they're going to do less funding for the first quarter than they thought. They have more in revenue coming in than they counted on. It's about $55 billion less than they thought they were going to need. That's a lot of money. So they're down to $716 billion they'll need. It was like an afterburner in the stock market, set it up when that happened, and the metals came alive because that starts putting some pressure on the dollar. You're going, what the heck do we need? Where are we on everything? So that's pretty much how I'm looking at all this play out. Now, what you do in a time like this, because we have so much going on, is take advantage of all that we have. I'll give you an example, the letters we write all day long. You think we're not analyzing this, putting out charts during the day, sometimes bonus charts, telling people what's going on, here's what we're seeing. And the beauty in futures is you take a look at it and you can write about the futures, the spreads, what are they doing? The cash markets, what are they doing? Who's doing what? Where's the option boys coming in on it? We do that all day long. So if you haven't seen what we do, we are a futures firm with a long history at Linn. How do you get advantage? Just go here. Go to iraepstein.com, free offers. You can move your cursor up to the top anywhere on this, by the way. It'll take you right there. Choose what you want. Then at the bottom of this page, as you scroll right on down, you put in your name, your email, and we get everything out to you typically the next business day. I'm Ira. You have a good day. I'll talk to you first thing in the morning.